I felt like 300 was an amalgamation of so many of the roles that I had played, with all their power and strength and darkness, because I felt Leonidas also had a kind of twisted side to him. You had to be to keep that warrior ethos.
When Gerard Butler roared, "This is Sparta," he became the embodiment of cinematic strength and defiance, but few know the brutal pain and chaos that unfolded off camera during filming. What if the iconic battle scenes you admired were actually forged in a relentless grind of injuries, exhaustion, and high-risk stunts? This wasn't just Hollywood magic, it was a punishing journey that tested the limits of every actor involved. Now, years later, Butler has opened up about the never-before-seen difficulties and sacrifices behind the legendary film, revealing truths that will change how you see 300 forever. The hidden chaos on set. Gerard Butler's fierce "This is Sparta" yell captured the world's imagination, but behind the scenes of 300 was an entirely different story, one of chaos, injuries, and raw exhaustion. The set wasn't just a place of creativity, it was a battlefield where cast members regularly ended up in the hospital. Butler himself recalled the daily toll, saying there was almost always someone getting hurt. From dangerous spear mishaps that nearly blinded actors to mistimed falls causing broken ankles, the physical demands often led to real-life emergencies. The film's stylized combat looked precise and choreographed on screen, but on set, it was a relentless grind pushing every performer to the edge. Unlike many productions that rely heavily on stunt doubles, Snyder encouraged the actors to perform their own fights, adding authenticity but greatly increasing risk. The heavy armor, close quarters, and non-stop repetition of intense battle scenes meant bruises, muscle tears, and accidents were common occurrences. Actors had to maintain focus and energy through hours of slow-motion moves, frequently swatting away invisible enemies and reacting to set pieces that would be digitally built later. Even with constant injuries and brutal working conditions, the cast pressed on, fueled by dedication to their roles. Butler spoke candidly about how the physical and mental exhaustion would leave him drained at the end of each day. Not just a demanding shoot, it was an ordeal that tested their resilience. What looked like heroic might on screen was built on unyielding pain and chaos off camera, a truth that only surfaced years later when Butler decided to share these hard realities. The sacrifices began long before the cameras rolled, rooted in the punishing training that shaped every Spartan warrior's physique. The Spartan workout regimen. Becoming King Leonidas wasn't just about learning lines or wearing a costume. It was a grueling transformation that took months of intense training under expert guidance. Gerard Butler and his co-stars endured an extreme fitness regime designed by trainer Mark Twight, one of the most demanding seen in Hollywood history. Over 7 months, Butler's days were filled with 6-hour sessions combining CrossFit, bodybuilding, sword fighting drills, and non-stop circuit training. This was not simply sculpting muscle for the camera, it was building real strength, endurance, and warrior-like agility. The workout pushed the actors beyond normal limits, featuring tire flips, kettlebell swings, obstacle sprints, and relentless push-ups and pull-ups. Training even included simulated combat, preparing the cast for the fight choreography they would face. This physical overhaul was brutal. Butler later admitted that the toll nearly destroyed his body. He suffered from tendinitis, hip injuries, and a torn rotator cuff, sometimes unable to even lift his arms. Yet despite the pain, Butler's determination never wavered, driven by a desire to accurately embody a leader who faced overwhelming odds with unbreakable spirit. This punishing preparation was famous in its own right, inspiring the now legendary 300 workout that spread worldwide among fitness enthusiasts. It demanded extreme discipline and sparked wider discussions about masculinity, body image, and dedication. For the Spartans, it wasn't just about physical aesthetics, but forging a connection between strength and purpose, qualities Butler wanted to bring authentically to his role. The training wasn't a one-time ordeal, it continued throughout filming, pushing the cast's limits every day and shaping the raw power audiences see on screen. But the physical grind was only part of Butler's commitment. His emotional and mental dedication went even deeper. Butler's total commitment. Gerard Butler approached playing Leonidas with more than just muscle and action. He immersed himself fully in the character's mindset and spirit. He developed a unique preparation process that involved meditation and visualization, aiming to channel the psychological state of a leader who would march 300 warriors into near-certain death. This mental discipline helped Butler tap into the emotional intensity required, bringing authenticity far beyond superficial bravado. It was about feeling the weight of responsibility, bravery, and sacrifice that defined the Spartan king. Physically, Butler insisted on performing many of his own stunts despite the obvious risks. He believed that embodying every moment of battle physically would make the role more genuine, not just for the audience but as a form of respect to the history and story. This dedication brought adrenaline highs but also real danger, with Butler pushing through injuries and exhaustion during those long days in hot, cramped studio conditions. His willingness to endure hypothermia and car stunt risks in later films showed this immersive style was no passing phase but a core aspect of his career. This level of total investment proved crucial in a movie so heavily reliant on digital effects and imaginative performance in front of blue screens. Butler had to react to invisible enemies and fictional environments with full energy and conviction, all crafted later in post-production. His fierce presence anchored the film, making every shout, every swing of a sword feel like the real deal. His commitment not only defined his performance, but set a standard many future actors would admire. From relentless set struggles to transformative training and profound personal devotion, Butler's journey reveals the true price behind 300's legendary roar: digital effects and studio challenges. The world of 300 was largely crafted within the confines of a Montreal studio where the cast performed most scenes surrounded by vast blue screens rather than real landscapes. Director Zack Snyder's vision called for a painterly, graphic novel aesthetic that relied heavily on digital effects, with about 90% of the shots enhanced or created in post-production. This groundbreaking approach offered creative control over every visual element, from the shifting weather to the glowing skin tones. But it also brought physical hardships. The intense artificial lighting necessary for the film's signature contrast generated stifling heat, making the cramped studio an exhausting environment for actors clad in heavy armor. For Gerard Butler and the cast, acting without tangible surroundings meant relying entirely on imagination and focus, reacting convincingly to threats and battles that didn't physically exist. Scenes filled with digital blood and gore had no practical effects to aid their performance, no exploding squibs or flying debris to react to. Instead, the actors had to create authentic emotional and physical responses to invisible opponents, often repeating the same taxing movements under hot lights for hours. This unusual setup demanded supreme concentration, combining the skills of stunt performers with those of seasoned actors willing to endure exhaustion both physically and mentally. Creative choices further distanced the film from historic realism in favor of mythic tone. For example, the Oracle's cryptic dialogue was mostly improvised to enhance her eerie and otherworldly presence, reflecting Snyder's intention to craft a world built on symbolism rather than factual accuracy. Every detail was calibrated to underline themes of sacrifice, destiny, and glory, turning the film into a legendary tale in motion rather than a strict historical recount. Behind the dazzling visuals lay a production environment that pushed the cast to their limits, blending innovation with intense physical and emotional demands. The intense conditions on set forged more than just a film. It created a brotherhood among the cast that would shape their performances and bond them beyond the camera lens. The Spartan Brotherhood. Playing warriors bound by duty and sacrifice, the cast of 300 developed a genuine camaraderie that went far deeper than their scripted roles. Gerard Butler often credited this bond with giving the film its emotional truth, explaining how their shared grueling training and physical exhaustion became the foundation for their on-screen unity. The ensemble, actors like Lena Headey, David Wenham, Dominic West, and Michael Fassbender, weren't merely co-stars but teammates who relied on each other through physical pain and long, isolating hours under challenging conditions. The trust and respect cultivated in these moments translated directly into the fierce loyalty the Spartans displayed on screen. Long training days together, pushing through relentless workouts and exhausting fight rehearsals, welded the cast into a tight-knit group. Silent moments on the training floor were filled with mutual support, cheering each other on through punishing drills and sharing rare breaks with laughter and conversation. This collective experience created an unspoken understanding of each other's strengths and struggles, mirroring the brotherhood of soldiers. Butler remarked that by the time filming began, they felt as though they had already been through war, a shared history that gave their performances palpable weight and realism. This bond extended beyond physical endurance to the emotional challenges of the story. Queen Gorgo's quieter, sorrowful scenes gained depth thanks to the trust between Hedy and her fellow cast members. The actors leaned on one another to meet the psychological pressures of acting in such a sterile environment, often without the usual set decorations or interaction. For the Spartans, their off-screen friendship wasn't just a comfort, but a vital force supporting the fierce spirit required by their characters. This real-life brotherhood made the film's portrayal of loyalty and sacrifice more than fiction. It became a lived experience. Cultural impact and Butler's legacy. When 300 stormed into theaters in 2007, few could have anticipated just how deeply it would embed itself in popular culture and influence the entertainment world. The film's bold, stylized visuals rewrote the rulebook for historical epics, combining graphic novel artistry with high-octane action to create a cinematic experience unlike any before it. Its distinctive color grading, slow-motion combat sequences, and dramatic lighting set a new standard. This fresh aesthetic inspired numerous films and TV shows in the years that followed, from Spartacus to Game of Thrones, all borrowing 300's visceral, mythic energy to elevate their own storytelling. Beyond cinema, 300 sparked a major conversation about fitness and masculinity. The chiseled physiques of Butler and his castmates became a benchmark for strength and dedication, fueling the rise of the infamous 300 workout. Gyms worldwide adopted versions of the grueling exercise routine, and fitness magazines detailed the intense regimen that crafted the Spartan bodies. More than just a fad, this workout prompted a cultural dialogue about discipline, body image, and modern ideals of manhood. The film's portrayal of brotherhood, courage, and defiance resounded with audiences beyond the screen, turning quotes like, "This is Sparta," into viral phenomena that permeated meme culture and everyday references. Gerard Butler's performance as King Leonidas was a career-defining moment that catapulted him into Hollywood's spotlight. Before 300, Butler was a relatively unknown actor, but his raw intensity and commitment made him an instant icon. The film opened doors to a diverse range of roles, from action-packed thrillers to romantic dramas, showcasing his versatility. Over time, Butler became synonymous with rugged heroism while also embracing more nuanced parts, proving he could lead both blockbusters and character-driven stories. For many fans, Butler will always be remembered as the fearless Spartan who redefined what it means to be a warrior on film. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden struggles and fierce dedication behind 300, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more amazing stories from Hollywood's biggest films. Your support helps bring these untold tales to light. Thanks for watching.